Welcome to one of our fall camp reports here on the Big 12 Insiders. I'm Tim Fitzgerald and joined by Stephen Leonard from the 24/7 UCF site. Stephen, how you doing, man? Good?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
Good. It's that time of year. We're getting close to football and everyone's fired up. Give me your overview of the Knights at this point in the fall camp.
They're much improved based on where they were last year. I think last year you still saw remnants of a group of five program. Now it's running exactly like a Power Five program should, or Power Four, I guess now.
Yeah. Okay, give me the key strengths this fall for the offense.
Obviously, that running back room, it might be the most complete running back room in the entire country. They had two 1,400-yard rushers from last year, with RJ Harvey returning and Penny Boone coming in. A little bit of that lightning and thunder, and then they have two really fast guys to give change of pace with Miles Montgomery from Cincinnati, who's been the MVP of fall camp, according to the offensive coordinator, and Johnny Richardson back for his final year.
Yeah, that sounds pretty tough. Biggest concern for this offense?
I think that right tackle spot, UCF has four starters back from last year on the O-line. I know they had 8 different starting rotations, so that might be like they have 4 starters back, but who was really the starter? But the right tackle spot, Paul Rubo, looks like he's earned that position. But obviously he's never started a game before. It's his 5th year, so it's going to be a big season for him.
Yep, that's going to be something. Key strength of the defense as we flip it over to the other side.
I think the defensive tackles, really Ricky Barber, John Walker, and then Lee Hunter, who might just be the best D tackle in the conference. His stats look like he was playing middle linebacker last year, but he's 6'5" and 340 pounds. It's a terrifying sight for a running back, and I know UCF's running backs have talked about him being hard to go against in practice.
That's interesting. Biggest concern on that defensive side of the ball?
I think it's just how they come together. I don't think it's any position. I think they brought in a good amount of talent. They have a lot of new faces, though. There's a lot of transfers. I think practically the entire linebacker unit, outside of three or four players, is new, and only 2 defensive back starters return. It's going to be a lot of newness, and I think that's how it takes them to get chemistry.
Okay. Looking at the season, what would define a successful season for at this point for UCF football, and what needs to go right for that to take place?
I think improvement upon last year. I know as cliche as that sounds, but really just finishing games. Last year they were in a lot of games late, like even Kansas State they were in late, and they just fell off in the fourth quarter. Obviously Baylor, they had a historic lead and blew it. I think just finishing games and showing that they are the best team that came into the conference.
Okay, what likely went wrong if UCF does not have what would be termed a successful season?
I think the defense failed to mesh. I think that's the biggest question mark on the team right now is this defense under new defensive coordinator Ted Roof going to mesh and going to fit next to the offense.
Okay. Every schedule seems to have that linchpin game where the season could turn one way or the other based on the outcome of that game. Do you see one on UCF schedule this season that kind of stands out as the game the Knights want to win, need to win if they want to get to where they're going?
I know a lot of UCF fans are going to throw that Florida out of conference game in, and not necessarily for the team, but my personal pick would be the week before with Colorado.
Yeah.
That game is going to be very important. It's sold out. It's going to have a lot of recruits in attendance. Just as far as where UCF wants to be, and there's going to be a lot of national attention on that game. I think that one's the real, and it's the Big 12 home opener. So.
Okay, let's go to that Florida game. Tell everyone what that means for the UCF program to get to go to Florida and kind of prove something in a kind of an awkward place this season. A couple games into the Big 12 season, but it's certainly not an early, non-conference game. It's kind of in the heart of the schedule. What does this game represent for this program?
Well, I think it represents a lot just for the state of the program. Obviously, the two teams played in the Gasparilla Bowl a few years ago, and that gave UCF a bit of a shot of a bigger reputation in the state of Florida with recruiting and with fan support. Obviously, UCF won that game pretty handedly. They a lot of circumstances are changed now. Florida with the new coaching staff. They're still down though. UCF is on the rise. I think that's really what this game means. If UCF's able to beat Florida in the Swamp, the reputation boost for that game is just incomprehensible.
Yeah, I would agree. It looks like already recruiting in the state of Florida is kind of picking up. UCF has always gotten some players that had, pretty nice offers from other schools, but it looks like the Knights have really stepped it up in terms of where they're able to shop for players. It seems to the membership in the Big 12 seems to already be paying dividends.
Yeah, really since Gus got here, but ever since the Big 12 movie, that even took up a bigger rise. I think they've broken their record for recruiting ranks every year under Gus's tenure. They're well on pace to do that this year, potentially their first top 25 class. And they just they landed Javen Boggs. It was a flip from Missouri, and that's their top wide receiver recruit of all time. And I think he might be the best player in their class, and it's stacked.
Wow. KJ Jefferson takes over at quarterback. How will that change this offense? And I guess kind of a stupid question here is how important is keeping him healthy after what happened last year?
See, I don't really think it changes how they call the offense. It changes how the offense actually operates. Last year they tried to do some stuff with John Rice Plumlee that he wasn't as big as KJ, obviously. I don't think anyone is. But they ran a lot of quarterback power, and he ended up getting hurt through that. KJ can obviously take some more hits, just from a size perspective. And obviously the keeping him healthy factor is important. I know Darren Hinshaw, who's the quarterback's coach, always talks about unnecessary hits. He marks every hit, even if it's, just getting hit after throwing the ball away. Like, he still marks the hit. So they definitely are taking every precaution.
Interesting. Okay, give me your your overall record prediction. Looking at this schedule, after the regular season's done, what numbers will the Knights have next to wins and losses?
I feel like you're putting me on the spot here.
Mhm.
8-4 has been my guess. I think they could fall anywhere in that 7-5, 9-3 range, though.
Very good. That's Stephen Leonard from the 24/7 Network talking about the UCF Knights' second year in the Big 12. Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks for having me.